We have a big problem in the housing market, even bigger than the fact that my microphone just decided to stop working. And it's a threat that's coming in not from interest rates, inflation, or supply chains. It's coming straight out of Donald Trump's mouth. In a post today, Trump called Canada a very difficult country to trade with, accused us or Canadians of slapping 400% tariffs on American farmers. And most importantly, he just threatened new tariffs on Canadian goods in retaliation for the digital service tax on big US tech companies. Translation: this could impact the Canadian housing market like a freight train. Let's break it down. First, yes, Canada does tax Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, and Google. It's called a digital sales tax known as DST. We tax them because they're making billions of money off Canadians and paying barely any tax here, as per the government correspondence, of course. But Trump, he sees it as an attack on American companies. And if he's serious, let's be honest, when has he not been unpredictable? But if he's serious, Canada could be staring down mega tariffs on things like aluminum, steel, lumber, and manufactured goods. And that would absolutely hammer our housing industry. But my thoughts, he's probably really upset regarding the recent agreement between Canada and the European Union. But hey, what do I know? Here's how this becomes your problem. First, materials, all those things that builders need to put homes together, like rebar, aluminum windows, HVAC ducts, wiring, steel beams. If Trump goes through with the retaliatory tariffs, the price of all that goes right up fast. Even if we produce aluminum and steel here in Canada, which we do, the global market doesn't care. The second the US closes the trade door, our domestic supply gets redirected or it gets bid up by international buyers. And suddenly your GTA new build costs $40,000 more just in materials. Now let's talk developers. If you're a builder staring down massive cost uncertainty, what do? You pause, you pull back, you shelve projects until you know what the hell is happening. That means fewer new homes, more delays, and tighter inventory. And let's face it, in this market, that's like tossing gasoline on an affordability crisis already raging out of control. And investors, they don't like drama. Institutional capital may start to view Canadian housing as very risky. That slows down large scale multifamily development, especially rental housing, which we desperately need. All of this trickles down to everyday buyers and sellers because when construction costs surge, developers build fewer homes. When supply shrinks, prices stay high or they get pushed even higher. And when affordability erodes, first time homebuyers get shoved further out of reach. So even if steel is made in Hamilton or another country, you still pay more because the entire supply chain gets distorted by tariffs. Think of it like this: if the world suddenly loses access to cheap lumber and Canada still has trees, guess who suddenly becomes the global lumber buffet? We do. But that doesn't mean we sell it to Canadians for less. This whole thing is like a house of cards. And when trade tension kicks in, housing becomes the first casualty, unfortunately. Oh, and it's not just housing that gets affected. Tariffs could hit the cost of appliances, fixtures, cabinetry, even EV chargers. Suddenly, your closing costs aren't the only thing making you sweat. So, what happens next? Well, if Trump goes ahead with this, a rise in material costs by late summer, and even a bigger slowdown in construction starts, possibly pressure on resale inventory, and maybe even a drop of investor confidence in pre construction markets. The silver lining: this is not 2018. Canada might have to fight back even harder, but that doesn't help the builders signing contracts today or the buyers budgeting for closing in 6 months. This is where things get real because Canadian homebuyers and homeowners are no longer just watching inflation and interest rates. Now we're watching foreign trade policy, and it's getting personal. If you're waiting on the sidelines hoping for prices to drop, you need to ask yourself, what happens if they don't drop at all for a while? What if tariffs push them even higher? Because in a world where politics drive pricing and housing is the pawn, It's not just about economics anymore. It's about who's controlling the board. So if you found this helpful, hit like, share it with someone that's looking for current events and looking for the big crash, and subscribe for real talk on the Canadian real estate market. Again, apologize for the audio, and I just wanted to get this video out there.